we should give people opportunities where they could aspire to this. We have been given scholarships over the years, 300, 400 scholarships on an annual basis. How many persons got scholarships to pursue these specialized technical areas? And I'm talking about allowing people to go and do something like what I'm saying, welding. We have universities that run programs, degree programs in these areas. Why aren't people here getting that opportunity to go on? We have here the UTT, the university. And when that came on stream, I was so happy because I thought that here we are going to, all these technical skills are going to be developed at the higher level, at university level. But no, it wasn't.
Is it that we do not have people like you, gentlemen like you, or able to deliver a syllabus such as that to other students? I know it's done in some schools, in some secondary schools. I was at one where that was taught. I actually taught English for those classes. But is it that we don't have lecturers at the university level to deliver the syllabus?
And that is where the problem is. I mean, if you give me $20 million now, I am going to send 5 people.
20 million, you say?
Yeah, 20 million. As little as 20 million. I'm going to send 5 people to study these different technical areas, get their degree in automotive, for example, in welding, in woodworking, in textile. You bring them back, they now have a first degree, and they are ready to go into our university. Give me some more money again and I will send them, if they do well, I'll send them back again to do their masters, because you need a master's to be teaching, lecturing at a university.
But what would be the qualifications for that? Because now as it is in schools, how many schools still actually deliver or offer this type of syllabus right now? And how many students actually choose to do this?
Unfortunately, teachers have been calling me from time to time, and they are saying that the programs are being depleted. For example, in the early days, we started with a Board of Industrial Training, and we do the National Examinations Council exams. We had people from Jamaica coming here, studying at John Day and so on, went back to Jamaica, and they had a school there called CAS, and they developed their program into degree programs. Why are we not there? The medal is not really for me. It is for technical, vocational education and training. And everybody who is involved in technical, vocational education and training,
that's for them.
This is for them.
Okay.
And I'm only the custodian of this medal. So when anybody over there who wants to see it or get a feel of it, feel free to come. It is for you. And I already told my family not to sell this, even if it's next 300 years. If nobody don't want it in the household, put it in the National Museum. It is for technical, vocational education and training.
Excellent.
And I'm not sure if I'm the first one to receive this on behalf of technical, vocational education. I'll need to check that.
Excellent, excellent. So we are talking, I mean, this is your passion, technical vocational training, technical vocation studies, which is why, that's what the medal is for.
Yeah.
But I was asking you as well, because I wanted to find out, I know that in the past, there would have been many schools that would have been doing these subjects. About how many now do you think, to your knowledge, are actually offering these subjects in the secondary school system?
All right, what we had previously, we had the National Examination Council exam, which we refer to as NEC. That has been dwindled down quite a bit. And you have what we call CVQ, the Caribbean Vocational Qualifications. Now, the Caribbean Vocational Qualifications, you have to attest to your skills and answer a few questions and so on. There's no real written examinations. The NEC was really the thing that we should have developed on. We should have built on that. Unfortunately, we didn't. I was hoping, as manager of technical education and training, that I was going to get that developed, where people would be able, from there, you walk into a university and you continue on. But we spoke about the problems earlier on. We do not have the qualified people. And this was an opportunity where we could get those people qualified to come back and teach in the UTTs or even UWIs and so on.
You know, another issue as well is that not every child is academically inclined towards the sciences and the physics, the business and those types of subjects. Some students, some children work so fantastically with their hands, and this is a different type of skill, which I think sometimes parents don't seem to understand. They think, oh, if, you know, I send my child to do this type of subject, where is it going to get them? But they don't realize how technical this is. What would you say to students who actually like this type of thing? Parents, you know, sometimes, you know, they want the academics, the real, what they call academics. But there is that drive as well for students who can do this and are very well, you know, very good at doing these types of things. How do you encourage that in schools and with parents as well?
I want to make an analogy here. If you get in the police service as a constable, and you realize there is nowhere for you to go, eventually most people will not want to get in to be policemen. But you must have that opportunity to reach commissioner one day. Everybody must have that opportunity. Similarly with technical vocational education and training, if you begin to do auto mechanics, because you're Duncy head, you know,
that's
like
what it was called, yes. You're Duncy head, yeah.
You didn't pass common entrance, go and learn a trade.
Yeah.
You ain't good with your brains, go and do something with your hands. But what drives your hands? Your brain. And I always tell people, and a lot of people of course do not know, that when you're doing the technical subjects, you must also study the English, which I think you are aware of. You have to study mathematics, physics, and so on. And when you do that, then you would be able to pass your exams. When we take that component out now, we only developing just the raw skills, and people wouldn't have that cognitive ability, that ability to really think and put the things in place, right? So you go to a higher level, right? There are many occasions that people who have a lot of practical exposure on the outside, they would call to find out what can we do. And then what happened, the person who has a higher level of technical training would be able to suggest to them the ways based on science. What can be done, right? Because when we see things that are made from, that came in from Germany, for example, you have to understand the principles and the scientific principles that goes with it.
That's right.
Not just put two things together and say, okay, that's it. And that is the problem that we're having. In technical education and training, we have people at the top who may not understand the true or come to grasp with technical education and training. As I always tell some of the folks that I talk to, people in technical education and training, people come in with a helicopter. When we should have people coming up the ladder to reach the top. You don't come in with a helicopter, then you're missing out all that goes on underneath. You won't understand. So when I bring a proposal to you to get something done, you won't understand what you did management, so you refer to it as what goes on in management.
You're actually missing out on the technicalities of what makes that helicopter fly to bring you to wherever you are.
Exactly. Right? So, and that is one of the problems that we face. And this is why I'm saying, let us develop technical, vocational education and training in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. Now that is your passion.
Yes.
You have outlined some of the things that you want to see done. What are some of them?
Right. For example, I thought that the first thing when I began work as a manager of technical education and training, the first thing that I wanted to look at was the youth camps in Trinidad and Tobago, and some things there, develop the facilities and so on, so that we can have people going back into the youth camps. Accreditation of technical programs.
Very important.
People would have done the technical teacher training, for example. And in some countries, when you do that, you get an equivalent to an associate degree. But we have people assessing that and assessing it as though it was a little 6-week course, unfortunately. So again, the development is kind of held on there, right? So we are looking at the development of all technical programs
You mentioned scholarships as well. Scholarships for the programs, yes.
Of course. Once we could develop that and people reach a certain level, we send them off on a scholarship. I could give you another example. I mean, it's too much for 49 years, but I will give you one. I went to a university in the States, just visiting. I went to see a Dr. McCoy there, who was the Dean of Automotive Engineering. And I passed through where they were doing the repairs and so on, and chatting with the group they were working on an automatic transmission. And I started to chat with them. And then they said, well, you seem to know a lot about this thing. I said, yes, I teach this in Trinidad. So, well, what brings you here? Well, I said, I came to see Dr. McCoy. And they began to laugh. Well, I wanted to find out what they were laughing at. And they said, well, you have been talking to Dr. McCoy for the past 5 minutes. He was under the vehicle, Dr. McCoy, under the vehicle, taking down the transmission and trying to figure out what could be done to improve the torque and so on in that transmission. So right away he asked me if I would want to come there and work.
Isn't this something that's offered if you go to university in mechanical engineering and that sort of thing? Is it the same type of studies that's been being done at the university?
No, and that is what a lot of people get confused with. No, it is not the same thing. When we talk about, if you become a mechanical engineer, for example, what can you do when you go out in the field? You have to learn all the different aspects. Let's look at industry, pumps, compressors, turbines, right? You would have done the theory, you would have done the calculations, but when you see the turbine, you might be surprised that that is the turbine that we were talking about, right? But you did all the calculations with. When you come to the technical stream now, you have done all the practical, and those are the people that I'm saying, develop them, give them the opportunities to develop. So at the end of the day, on top there, you would have the type of person that is very strong practical skills and has some good theoretical or scientific skills to perform.